Hey guys, it's Sabina. I just wanted to come on here for a few minutes. I just wanted to share 3 scriptures that have been in my head a lot today, actually this whole week. The first one is from Proverbs. It's hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a longing fulfilled is a tree of life. And come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your soul. And then cast your cares upon the Lord, for he cares for you. This week, I don't know, I've talked to a lot of people, and so many people are going through so much right now. I mean, it has been one battle after the next, and I know what it's like to be exhausted, not only physically but mentally and emotionally. And maybe you've been in a dark season and it's felt like forever. You know, it's been like one bad thing after the next, and you know, sometimes you just want to give up. And I know a lot of people, I know my last video I was talking about, you know, my friend who had committed suicide, and so many people, you know, this happens every day. Like one of my friends, he just had told me that one of his friends committed suicide. And listen, times are really hard, and like I do know where I would be without my relationship with God. And I don't come on here just to, you know, read poems. I mean, it's awesome, but I just want to encourage anyone, like, come to me, all you who are weary and burdened. A lot of times we seem to make God the last results. Like I came to God after there was nothing else, that had nothing. I lost everything, you know. We never make him the first resort. We never go to God for, well, I'm not saying, you know, but most people, right? It's like if something bad happens, we're like, even if we don't believe in God, we're like, God, please help me. You know what I mean? But why wouldn't we go to God first? Why wouldn't we? Do we think because of pride? Probably, right? We think we can figure this out in our own strength, or we can work everything out ourselves, you know? And I can honestly say I'm grateful that now God is my first resort. Like, I don't start my day without talking to God, because I don't know what the challenges are going to be in my life. And he gives us the grace to go through whatever it is that we need to go through that day, that month, that year, you know? And I love this. Cast your cares on the Lord, for he cares for you. Like, a lot of people don't think God cares about them. And I understand that. I didn't think that for years, because I'm like, if God cared about me, why would he let me go through all this stuff? Why can't, he's God. Why couldn't he just change everything, right? Well, a lot of times, like, it's not about changing our circumstance. It's about drawing us close to him. It's like if you were in a relationship, would you just want somebody because of everything? You know, would you want somebody because of everything they could do for you? Like, is that real love? You know, or would you want to know them? God is a relational God. He wants to get to know us. He wants to have that intimate relationship with us, so that even when we're going through those really hard times in our lives, like, we can lean on him. Just like, you know, if you have a relationship and you can lean on your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife, your mom, your this, whoever, right? You know, like, okay, your parent can't change anything, right? Or your husband or whatever, but you can rely on them for that emotional support, that mental. Now, granted, God can change your situation. He can do anything. But sometimes I feel like, I'm sorry, allergies. Sometimes I feel like he lets us go through things, not because he's trying to be mean or whatever, but he wants us to cultivate that relationship with him. And there's lessons that we all have to learn, and there's hard. Some of us have had like really hard lives, and it looks like no matter what, we can't catch a break. I know that I've felt that way before, and it's like, no, it's just like the hits keep coming. But you know what? You either become bitter or you become better, right? Those are really the only options, right? But I'm grateful. For a long time I was bitter, but I've become better because of the trials that I've gone through. And just the beautiful thought of like casting your cares, you know, like everything that you're going through today, whatever it may be, you can literally take it and say, okay, God, I can't do this anymore. Like I always say about surrender. I wave the white flag, take it. And he actually cares, and he can help you navigate through whatever it is that you're going through. I don't care if it's a fallen relationship, you're about to lose your house, if about whatever the issue is that's going on in your life today. You know, if you just talk to him and ask him to give you the strength. And a lot of us sometimes have a hard time doing that because we're like, we can't see him, you know, maybe we can't feel him, or maybe you don't even believe. But like I said, how I got saved, like I just started like talking to God because I was in such desperation. You know, I was a drug dealer, I was a major pill head, I was literally marred, scarred, abused, had everything that could possibly happen to a person, and I was tired. And that's like awesome. Come to me, all those who are weary. Like, is anybody here weary today? So many of us are weary because life is just hard as it is, and not for nothing, they've been really tough in society, just in the world we're living in. Things are expensive, people have money problems, people have, you know, relationship problems, kid problems, you know, problems with themselves, unresolved issues that they've never dealt with, you know, because we mask them. You know, we live in a society where there's like a million distractions, right? And we can just distract ourselves with whatever. Movies, video games, shopping, social media, right? But then when you get alone with yourself, you feel that emptiness, and you feel that depression, and you feel that sadness. And look, only God could fill that void. We all have a God-shaped void. And like I was telling someone earlier today, some of us have more voids than others because of maybe you didn't have a mom, maybe you didn't have a dad, maybe were abused, you know, whatever void is in there. And we try to fill it with all this other stuff. And you know what? It could work for a little bit, right? You can get in a relationship, you know. And a lot of times I'm gonna read 2 poems about just like, you know, we'll meet somebody and like boom, it's a distraction. We'll even get ourselves into situations and relationships that really aren't meant for us. There's nothing worse than being in a relationship that like maybe, you know, even when you see the red flags, you still pursue it because maybe, you know, most people are afraid to be alone, you know, and we'll put up with stuff that was never even really meant for us because we're afraid to be alone. So yeah, I don't know, those scriptures were on my heart today, and I just thought maybe they could encourage somebody. God loves you, whoever you are, everybody. You may not think he loves you, but he does. He sent his son to die for you. He loves you. And all you got to do is keep it real with him and talk to him. He's waiting. You talk to him, and even if you don't hear anything, you know, at that moment, or you don't have some profound thing happen, you know, I would talk to God all the time, especially when I was high. I would always talk to God. I don't know, like, it was a weird thing I did. I didn't know he was listening the whole time. And then one day, bam, I found out he was listening. And when I said, can you change my life? Now, he didn't change my life the way I thought I would have wanted my life changed. You know, I didn't know I was going to have to, like, lose my mind and lose my everything, you know, and fall to that rock bottom. But that's what it took for me to see everything that I was involved in was really bad. And that was what it took to uproot that old foundation, that old garden, demolition, all of that stuff, so that I could start fresh. And I'm not saying everybody has to go through that, but I am saying that, you know, God may want to do something new in your life, but you're resisting it because you're afraid. And a lot of time, fear makes us not take a step in the right direction. You know, what if this? What if that? Da-da-da-da-da. But nothing good can ever, even if it's hard in the beginning, nothing good can ever happen if you don't take a step of faith, you know? And trust that he's going to lead you to where you need to be. And it may not work out the way you think it should, you know? We all want comfort. We all want the quick fix. We live in a microwave society, right? We all want things easy. But the truth is that anything of value, it doesn't come easy. You know, any masterpiece, it's not made overnight. And you're a masterpiece. I'm a masterpiece. And God's still working on me. And he's working on you. And the thing is that God gives us free will. And people like get all, he didn't want robots. So he gives us free will. Sometimes we'll just keep going around that same mountain. And then we get exhausted because it's exhausting to keep going around the mountain. But sometimes it's good when the avalanche falls and you actually have to like climb and you finally have to work through something and you have to actually face yourself. That's a good thing. It's painful, but then you can move forward. If you never face yourself, you're going to just keep going around in different faces, different spaces, different places, and you're never going to achieve anything new, and you're never going to grow. And it doesn't matter how old you are. Some people get this revelation young, some old, but you can start over, and you just, the hardest part is really being honest with yourself, so I don't know, I just felt like saying that. But I wanted to read you this poem I found. It's called Rambling Rose. One day I was like looking up like roses, and I saw like rambling roses, and I'm not like a gardener or nothing. If anything, I killed cactuses. Like don't have a green thumb, but I was looking up roses. I was actually looking up black roses, and I wanted to see if that was like a thing. And then I found out there really are black roses, because it's my favorite, and that they grow in like a certain soil in like Turkey, like for like a month or something. And then I came across Rambling Roses, and I thought it was interesting, and then I just came up with this poem. So I'm going to read it. You live for empty pleasures. They fade through each new song. I finally see the big picture. You were weak, not strong. I was young, looking for guidance, impressionable and quite rare. But wolves in sheep's clothing can't love, for their lives are barely there. Weeds grow in anything, but rambling roses grow on vines. Their thorns protect them from what's all around, guarding their gates from the intruding kind. All you were was temporary, a stumbling block for the moment. But what's a mountain in your way after you decide to climb? I was young, looking for guidance, impressionable and quite rare. But wolves in sheep's clothing can't love, for their lives are barely there. They can never destroy a rambling rose, for they are made strategically rare. They can never blossom or unfold, for their lives were barely there. And this was written about an ex-boyfriend of mine that, there's nothing worse than when you've had your head messed with, and there's just so many people that there's people out there that deliberately go on that quest to hurt people because they're messed up somewhere in their soul, and they make it like an assignment to go and try to find, they think it's like a false, it makes them feel strong. But like I said, that in the first part, that they're weak. They're really weak, because weak people have to go around trying to hurt people. Weak people, they think because they get in someone's mind and they can get someone to trust them, and then all of a sudden, they start to pick that person apart, and they think that makes them powerful and strong. But it just shows they're pathetic and weak. And I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have, I hope not a lot, but I'm sure there are, that have had relationships where someone just really destroyed your trust. And it's hard. It's hard to trust people. It's hard to see, any friendship or relationship after somebody did that to you. It takes a lot of healing and learning to how to trust yourself, because how many of us know that all of a sudden we don't trust our own judgment, and then we think we don't want to start judging people out of our own wounds, and not be able to properly discern, who's a healthy person, who's not. And granted, even though there's always those red flags, sometimes there isn't in the beginning, or they're very minute, and sometimes we just fall into those traps, but that doesn't mean that everybody's like that. So that's where I got that poem from. And then this one kind of same premise. It's called You Almost Fit. So this one's short. You almost fit with harmony, but almost would be the death of me. You come real close to complimenting my space, but real close would leave me in an empty place. The puzzle piece I can no longer wedge. I made my vow and said my pledge. Later on, deep regret would follow, and once again I'd become hollow. You almost fit with ecstasy, but almost would be the death of me. And, you know, I guess, like, that's one thing, like, when I had that really bad relationship, that, like, you know, the guy that tried to get me to commit suicide and all that stuff when I was younger, and I even had another relationship that was really crazy too, you know, they said all the right things, you know, they were so intriguing and mysterious that, you know, and it was funny because the person that I'm thinking of right now, I had no interest in them whatsoever, and that became like almost like a chase for them, right? That was like, they're like, wow, like, she's not paying me any mind. So, like, they would just casually just kept showing up everywhere I was, making small talk. They worked me good. And then, you know, started, you know, on my vulnerable moments, they started, like, being there for me. Kind of like the devil, really, you know? Because Satan is subtle, you know? He's like a little snake, right? So he'll just, like, you know, work you on your, you know, slither into your life in those weak moments, you know, when you're caught off guard, you know. And it's just important when you're feeling weak, when you're feeling sad, when you're feeling depressed. You got to know yourself so well. Like, sometimes I know not to do certain things or go to certain places when I'm feeling a certain way, because I'm more vulnerable. You know, but even if you're not on yourself like that, it can happen to any of us, you know. And I don't know, I just really have a heart for those that have had their heads really messed with by people that just, their lives were barely there. They're not even real. They can't even feel. They're narcissistic, and they just can't even, their whole quest in life. Like, I even know someone right now that literally, like, that's all he does. Like, he looks at women as weak, and, like, he just tries to get people to fall in love with him. It's all a game, and that's just really pathetic, honestly, you know, because there's so many people that are beautiful out there, and loving someone doesn't make you weak. It actually makes you strong. Being vulnerable to someone makes you strong, you know, because what happens is we just end up building up walls, and then we don't let anyone love us, and then we lose out. We only have one life to live. You know, we got to cherish every moment, like I always say, because we don't know. Even the hard times, cherish those too. Cherish everything. Don't take anything for granted, because we never know what could happen. And I'm not even just talking about, like, death or whatever. We don't know. Right now, imagine, like, we're, like, today it's a cloudy day, but it's a nice day. We don't know. We're other countries right now, bombs are going off, right? They live in constant terror, you know. We are so blessed in so many ways. So even in our hard moments, even when we feel like the world is caving in on us and, you know, the struggle's real, it's real. But we got to count our blessings and just have a spirit of gratitude for everything, you know. I got some car issues right now, but you know what? I got a car. I got a roof over my head today. You know, maybe I don't have a whole bunch of money in the bank, but guess what? I got gas in my car. My bills are paid. You know, that if we start thinking about all the good things that we have, and I'm just, like, totally went on a tangent here, but if we start thinking about all the things we do have today, having our health, you know, there's people I know that have cancer right now. There's people I know that are really, that are struggling physically. Just these things we take for granted, our eyesight, our being able to walk, you know, not being in a wheelchair, not being able to wipe ourselves, okay? I worked in group homes for a long time with adults with disabilities, and, you know, I had to shower a lot of them. I had to clean them, you know? Like, we have so much to be grateful for. So I think what I do is whenever I start feeling, like, down or looking at the circumstance, and we're not saying that, like, these things, bad things aren't happening in your life, but if you start counting your blessings, even if you just say them out loud, one by one, that you start to feel lighter. You start, like, oh, wow. You start, like, I don't know, just a gratitude just comes upon you, you know? And then everything else is just a bonus. Any other things, if you live, I see some of the most miserable people are people I know that like have a lot of money, or like they're always, I know somebody that just always has such a spirit of ingratitude, and like this person has a lot of money, they're doing really good, but they're always complaining. Always complaining. You ever know that person that just blah 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 blah? Everything. Every day it's a saga. Everything's dramatic, and everything is like they could never just be still and have peace and be thankful. I don't know. I did all over the place today. But those are some things that were on my heart today. Be grateful. And just know that you can cast everything on God. And if you're tired today and life has just been beating you down, God understands. He really does. He really does. And if you don't even believe that, just say, Lord, God, whoever you are, I don't even believe that. Please show me you care. Because sometimes it's like amazing things will happen right at that moment, And that takes faith to even do that. So, anyway, I just wanted to come on here quick and just say that. I hope you guys have a great week. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye.